Coach, good evening. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys having me. We took a year off, but we're back. So great to talk to you again.
Yeah, and you've got an interesting story because I know there's a lot of youth on your team, a lot of inexperience, but you lose your first 10 games of the year. You start 1-13, and we were talking before we brought you on. That's the bad news. The good news, though, is you've played. You're 24-6 since then, including 4 straight wins in the Mountain East Conference tournament. So what came together for this group?
Yeah, really, like you said, you got young guys and you're trying to figure out a lot of things. We lost 6 of our top arms to Division I programs in the portal world, and I just kept reminding our guys that all the things that we needed to accomplish to make a regional were ahead of us in that early part of the season, and we hadn't even begun conference play. We just had to keep getting better, keep working hard, and you absolutely have to just double down on development, and then you have to have great people who believe in what you're doing and are willing to stay the course and fight with you. So.
Coach, when things were not going well and the struggles were ongoing, did you see that there was light at the end of the tunnel, or are you a normal coach and the world's falling apart when things are going bad?
Yeah, no, I always see the light at the end of the tunnel because, listen, you have to understand that if you're going to have young players, you're going to have growing pains. And in the portal environment, we're probably always going to have young players. Certainly I hope that our guys stick around and stay with us for 4 years, but that's getting harder and harder. So rather than go out in the JUCO market, rather than be deeply invested in the transfer portal, I'd rather continue just getting as many great high school seniors as I can and build our freshmen and let them play and grow and develop. I think we've done an awesome job recruiting in West Virginia, which we haven't done a great job of in the past. Our 26 class is loaded with West Virginia talent. 27 in West Virginia has a lot of talent. And with the reduction at the roster size with Marshall and WVU, I think we just have the capacity to reach more of our in-state guys. And so that's an important part of what we're doing and what we're building. And ultimately, my objective and my greatest goal is to build men of exceptional character. And that takes the time and the patience and walking with them through all the struggles and the adversity that you go through, because I'm sure everybody that's listening and you as well can relate to the fact that life is not going to always be easy. You're going to have to go through some difficult things. And so going through some difficult things on a baseball field is a lot easier than on many of the things that we face in life. So,
talking with Dean Peterson, head coach, University of Charleston. They'll play in the NCAA Regional starting tomorrow. Okay, Dean, let's go back on the field here. So Kyle mentioned the learning curve early. You got it together, got hot late, especially in the MEC tournament. On the field, what drove you? Hitting, pitching, both? What were the performances that got you to this NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I tell you what's been the kind of the glue that's held us together throughout the good and bad has been our defense. Our defense has been exceptional. There have been times where we haven't pitched it well, haven't thrown enough strikes. Definitely some times where we haven't swung it well. But our defense has been great. It continued to be great throughout the MEC tournament. Pitchers stepped up at the right spots. There were definitely some moments, especially in Game 1, where we gave up a big crooked number that was ugly. But then our pitchers bounced back and very resilient to keep us in ball games. But I would say offensively, this is the best we've swung the bat in over the last few weeks this season. So a lot of that's continuity, right? It's getting a consistent lineup out there that can just trust that, hey, I'm gonna be out there in the lineup again today. I'm gonna be out there in the lineup again tomorrow, and so being able to get a group of guys going and playing with some consistency, I think, has been a big difference.
Who gets the ball for you tomorrow morning? Give us a scouting report on your starter.
Yeah, so we'll go with Brevin Deckers. He's one of the only 5 seniors that we have. I think, in these big environments, since we only have 2 players that have been to a regional on our roster, you go with some of your veteran guys and trust that they're going to rise to the occasion in the moment. We're going to sell out for it, man. It's super important in this 3-team format that you get out and win that first game. So some of our guys that have been starters, we'll use them just like we did in the MEC tournament and run them out there to try to get us through 9 innings and win a ball game.
So,
and
Coach,
then we'll go from there about what we got left.
Coach, you mentioned you only have a few players who've participated in a regional, but you've been there. So what is it that leads to success? Winning that first game, I guess, is something you'd point to, but what is it that leads to success when you get to this level?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I knew the secret sauce. I'm sure every coach did, but I think it's composure, and it's not allowing those big innings to let you get out of hand, right? For the most part, if you give up 2 or 3, you can handle that, but when you go out and give up 4 or 5 plus, those are difficult to come back from. And so especially with our young team, we're going to need to get out to a good start and kind of I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. It's kind of like the Super Bowl, right? The 2 teams come out and they're a little nervous. They're feeling out the moment, and usually the first quarter is like 0-0. In baseball, it feels like the other way, where usually somebody makes a mistake that leads to something that gets the score sideways. So we've just got to limit mistakes, stay calm early, and then trust that hey, this is a 9-inning game, which we play 7s normally throughout the year, so it's definitely a different feel. It's only 2 innings, but it is a difference in the game. So as long as we can get out to a good start, not let it get away from us early so we can settle in, I feel pretty confident.
In case people didn't hear our interview with you the last time you were on, we've got to talk about your background, because this is about as non-traditional, Dean, as I think it gets here. And not only were you a pastor in a previous life, but let's talk a little bit about the life before that. You spent 11 years in the Secret Service. So we've got to talk about that. What part of that world were you able to take and move forward into your current world? Where's a crossover?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about serving and loving people, right? All these spaces, and thank you for this question, because it means so much to me to be able to answer it. You asked earlier about, hey, things are going sideways. Well, guess what? When you're in the Secret Service, you're dealing with life and death things in certain times, not every day, but those situations do come up. So it gives you perspective of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. And then you talk about faith, and that's the foundation of our program. I got a lot of guys who share the importance and the value of faith, and I think that the Christian principles are just good life principles. Have great people who are motivated by the right things. They genuinely love each other, care for each other. They're willing to make sacrifices and do the things that are necessary to see the success of the collective whole, and that's what gets you through, right? It's all the things that have shaped me as a person that then shape the culture of our program, what's important to us, what drives us, the things that motivate us beyond simple stats and wins and losses, but the brotherhood, which is so important to these young men, right? They just want to belong to something that's special. They want to feel like they're important and loved and valued beyond what they do or don't accomplish on the baseball field, and that's a gift for me and my coaching staff to be able to invest in these guys in that way, and for them to then respond to it in a way that has a result, because you don't always get a great result, even when you're doing things the right way and working your butt off. So I'm extremely proud of these guys and happy for them that they were able to experience this and have success.
Yeah, one of those guys on your staff right along with you be familiar to Mountaineer fans and Marshall fans. Carter Lyles spent time pitching for both Division I universities in the state, and he's your pitching coach now. So what has he brought aboard, not only with his character, but his ability to teach guys how to throw the baseball.
Yeah, it starts with the character. We were just talking about that, and the character, his faith, and what he's able to do is, somebody more close in age to these guys and connect with them and have conversations around faith and encourage them is amazing. And then it's funny, when I hired him, I'm a pitching guy. That's my background. I was pitching coach before I became the head coach here, and I told him, I'm like, you're going to have one of the toughest jobs in America, because I certainly have some strong opinions about how to run a pitching staff. And he came in, and he was coachable as a coach, if that makes sense. Like, he allowed me to really speak into what I felt was important and what we needed to do, and he did those things. And then my trust in him grew, and now it's through the roof. Like, he calls all the pitches. He's very involved in the pitching changes we make. So, I'm trying to entrust him with more and more responsibility, because he's just grown into this position in awesome ways. And obviously, I think the younger generation, they know a lot more about the metrics and all the data that goes into it. And Carter's one of those guys. He truly is one of the rising stars in the pitching space. He does a tremendous job of integrating information and data and all the technical side of it with just practical. I can connect you to substantive cues to help you pitch better. I can give you great advice as to how to attack and get people out. And so he's been so valuable. And like I said, I feel like he's a star on the rise. I hope I can keep him around as long as possible.
Yeah, very good. One more for you, Coach, before we let you go. And you alluded to it at the beginning in this transfer era. We've famously celebrated the success that West Virginia has had with Division II transfers. So that's the plus side of it. The minus side of it is guys that run the Division II programs like yourself and Carter Lyles. You're losing these guys. So how more difficult has it been? Has it changed the way you recruit with the large number of players that transfer?
Yeah, I mean, it's always evolving, right? How you recruit and how you approach things always has to evolve, because the rules are always changing, the dynamics are always changing. I'd say that it's refined our focus and approach. Nobody, and I know that sounds kind of arrogant, so probably very few people recruit the way we do and are looking for the things we look for, right? I talked about how important faith and character are, and if you come to one of our camps, it's not the normal, all right, let's get out the radar gun and see how hard you can throw it. Like, we do very difficult things. Like, we make recruits that come to our camps run a half Murph, because we do really hard things throughout our season, like physically, to challenge ourselves. So they have to do that. And then we have this crazy drill that we do with our team where we've got multiple machines set up, flying balls all over the place. So anyway, but you have to make your approach to recruiting unique to the types of players you want to, and who fit into your system, right? And will be successful. And so, like, the more we have success, the more we are better at identifying those types of people. I think they'll want to stay more, unless there's just this clear and obvious path for them, right? I have a few guys that are at smaller schools, but, like, the ace of my staff, Trace Hartman, who's a freshman when we were here 2 years ago and led the country in ERA, like, he's at Stetson and having amazing success. We beat Arkansas earlier in the year. So I never fuss guys for having those types of opportunities. Coach Sabes calls me and says, hey, you've got a guy that I really think is good. I'm not going to fuss him if that's a great fit for that kid in WVU, or, so I totally understand the dynamic, and part of loving these guys is allowing them to have a pathway to success and chase the dreams and goals that they have as individuals. But what is great, I think, about this era is since so many D1s are tending to take transfers over high school players, now there's a very robust pool of high school talent that we at the Division II level get to draw from. And like I said, I mean, I got some gauge from West Virginia. Like, I mean, really good players coming in the 26 class that I think in years past probably would have been fringy Marshall, WB type talent. So it's just working it all out and trusting what you do, knowing who you're trying to identify, and then if guys go because they have a great opportunity to celebrate it and believe that your player development is strong enough to replenish the pool of talent that you lose.
Yeah, overcome that, indeed. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. We probably kept you too long, but very thoughtful answers, and we appreciate it, and we certainly wish you the best of luck starting tomorrow in the regional.
Well, I thank you guys for the opportunity. I appreciate it so much and appreciate all that you do to promote sports in our state.
All right, thanks very much, Coach. Coach Dean Peterson there